and then tomorrow's my birthday, and then it's New Year's. It's a good time of year, and it's my favorite time of year to plan. So I thought I would share kind of some tips I have for fellow makers, sign makers. If you make something with your hands and sell your goodies, I would love to talk about how I plan my year, and I even have a little free downloadable tool that you can use as well. So this is not a DIY video, it's something a little bit different, but if we haven't met before, my name is Katie. I own Junk to Jewels, where I love to help you create a beautiful home, and I love to inspire creative women in business. So hi Charlene, how are you? So as you are hopping on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. And if you're a maker, if you have a side hustle, a full-time creative business, wherever you are living and making. Hi Felicia. Cassie said happy birthday. Oh, she's a fellow Capricorn. Her birthday was yesterday. Mine's tomorrow. So yeah, I'm getting this in before tomorrow. Our planning week at Junk to Jewels, we do a day-long planning fun day, because you gotta like reward your planning, I believe. And we're gonna do it at a restaurant where they have coffee in the morning, cocktails in the evening. It's an all-day thing. It's kind of it's a hipster place. You can play shuffleboard, you can have a conference room and like put up your computers, and we're gonna spread out on a table, print our calendars, and like put this all into practice. But we have a pretty good routine of this and a pretty good history of making big things happen in our business year after year. So I thought I would share this for creative brains like mine who can see the squirrel, the shiny sparkly thing, and get distracted. And so this is how I do it. It's a way that engages me not only in the planning process, but it also puts in the stepstones that I need throughout the year to make sure that those big goals that I set this week actually come to fruition. So, sound good? Sound good. I see Spring, Texas make signs. What's your name? Sorry. Sally. And then I saw somebody, Debbie is watching. Bev. I saw somebody from Boston. Well, you guys are all over. Well, I hope you had a fantastic holiday. As I mentioned, if you're just jumping on, this is like probably my favorite week of the year. It's my birthday, and usually we have a whole day dedicated to planning, which seems weird that my creative brain likes planning, but I like to manifest my dreams, and I think that this is just kind of like a in-depth level of dreaming. It's like putting the things into place to actually do it. So I actually created a downloadable PDF, and the quote I used was "Dream beyond your current circumstances," which I think is a Brendan Burchard, if you don't know him, quote, and I love that. So hey from Bama, Rebecca, and Lori, and Denny, thank you. You guys are so sweet. Well, I don't have a craft for you or a DIY today. It's for business, creative ladies. If you know somebody who makes something, will you share this video with them? Either send it in Messenger, share it to your page, tag them. I would love it. If you know some makers, because I think this can really bless them. And like I said, I have a tool to share with them. So I'm gonna get started and tell you how I plan my year, okay? So like I said, we're gonna go to our cool spot. I think it's important that you get out of your normal work environment. So I won't say get out of the house, depending on where you work. Maybe, pitch your tent up at Starbucks or something for the day. Some people for the library. I don't know where you want to work. Outside on the deck, it's kind of cold here, but Nancy's in Southern California. Lisa makes signs and shirts. Well, this is hopefully helpful for you, Lisa. And Raina, you're just in Greenland. That's not too far. Okay. So I start my year with an unfiltered brainstorming. So this is my favorite part. Thinking of ideas and big dreams are what my gets me going, I guess, is what I'd like to say. So I brainstorm, brain dump it. I don't filter. I don't think about possibilities. I just think, what is the craziest wild thing I would want to do in my business? There's Blakely. Hi. Blakely's a fellow creative. That is my niece. And her and I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday just to spend our Hobby Lobby gift cards we got for Christmas. So we are kindred spirits. Well, other people got like Target and stuff, and her and I got Hobby Lobby. But anyway, so this brain dump is really step one for me to my best year ever. And I think we've gosh, I've been in business for a lot of years, and every year surpassed the previous year or made an intelligent loss of sales. If that's how you equate success in the best year ever, we've made an intelligent step back to change parts of our business for more personal fulfillment. Does that make sense? Hopefully. I'm good tonight, Tammy. Thank you. Okay, so this brainstorming. What our brains tend to do, if you're struggling with what brainstorming is, go back to elementary school, and they tend to bring up last year. Like, you're gonna think in your business, because we're planning for mostly our creative businesses here. You can try to twist this for personal development as well, or, you know, whatever you want to do in your own life. You can too, and apply it, I bet so. And I tend to go back to last year and be like, okay, well, here's the benchmark that I set last year. I did 10 craft shows last year. So this year I want to do 12 if I'm going to make it better, okay? And then I want you to take, when your brain made the better statement and like you put your first initiative, your first instinct of a goal, then I want you to go bigger, okay? So maybe it's 15, and this may not be a good one because in step 2 you're going to talk about how you got to set boundaries and how that may make you crazy, okay? So, but for me, you know, say I did 10 last year, my first instinct is to say, let's add a couple more, I'll do 12. Well, I'm gonna say, challenge myself to go bigger, 15. And then I want you to remember, you're planning the best year ever. So, best circumstances, what would blow your mind for your business? And for you, like, I may talk a lot about my business, and I'll try to give you personal examples, like, if I wanna work with some brands this year, maybe my first goal is I only had a few small brand deals this year. So this year I want to work with 3 brands. I want to do $5,000 with brands, you know, and maybe that's my first goal. And then I need to go, oh, 10. But if I really wanted the best year ever, what would that look like? What would that look like beyond what I think I can do? Like, God's awesome. Like, you know? So it's like, just blow your mind with what you put down. So I kind of want you to do those first instincts, your bigger goal, and then the best year ever goal. So kind of with each of the ones, that's what I do. So brain dump, I don't think about my current circumstances, limitations, whatever. I just think about the desires of my heart, what's been laid on my heart. I do kind of go through the list of last year events and income generators and that kind of spurs on what I have. Amen, Jessica says. Hi, girl. Okay, so once you've brainstormed, and I like to sum that all up on a vision board typically, okay? So what I do is get a poster board. I picked one up at Hobby Lobby with my gift card with gold glitter around the edge. And I'm gonna cut out words, images, quotes, things like that remind me of these final things that I kind of weed down on my vision board. And I do believe as a creative that a lot of times your business stuff blends over to your personal stuff. There's not a straight line, right? You know, you could work 24/7. Maybe you work from home, so it's hard to turn it off and on. And so that's, for me, the vision board ends up being like a kind of my whole being, my goals for the year. So that's what I do. I do a vision board. I also like to set a word of the year. So I know for sure last year, sorry, there's a reminder up here. Oh, good. Jessica's putting up some scripture for us. All right. Jody says amen. I do a word of the year. So that, if you can narrow down your intention for the year, like, I don't think of New Year's resolutions when it's related to business. I just think it's a fresh start to set goals and kind of set your intention for the year. So if I can narrow that down to one word, what my mission is for the year, last year it was diligence. And I had a scripture based on diligence is the doorway to a blessing. And just kind of sticking with a lot of things, it's where like it's grind and get to the next level type stuff. So that was my word for 2018, and it served me really well. And I think if you have one word that can remind you, I actually just had a friend send me, Erica, if you're watching, Erica sent me a bracelet that says diligence. She had stamped it in metal for me. So that was really cool. I'm considering a few words for 2019, but hopefully you'll hear that from me, what I decided my word was. So whatever works for you, whether it's a vision board, just a brainstormed list, or actually setting a word of the year for your business maybe, or a mission statement is really good. Okay, so after we've brainstormed and done that step, I'm gonna take a drink of water. Not water, Monster, caffeine, right? So Jessica, you haven't planned out your new year yet? Anybody else already planned out their new year? Like, I don't know. And I don't know if most people in their business just set financial goals. But for me, one of the things that I incorporated, this is probably been 2 years ago, is setting boundaries. So that's really the next step. I put boundaries in place for ensuring my personal joy and fulfillment. So one of those things that you can be, that can sneak up on you in your business is that you can build a business that you end up hating because you're always chasing the financial goal. Okay? You've taken on clients or custom pieces or said yes to every event or craft show or workshop, and you end up being burnt out, not your best self for your business, for your home or your life. So I can be a workaholic, so I have to set those boundaries for myself. So boundaries for me could look like, okay, maybe you don't want to work Sundays this year. Like I said, you can become a workaholic. For me, I had to set, like, I can't work more than 10 days in a row or I don't like me, you know. And I had some stuff where I worked, you know, 21 days or more in a row getting ready for a craft fair. And of course, there's probably going to be exceptions in your business, but hopefully we're putting some other things in place that are going to really limit that. But set boundaries for yourself. And maybe it's, you know, once a month, your boundary is that you need to set aside a day for self-care and going to get a pedicure, or I don't know, you know, for me, I love to get my hair done and I get it done every 7 weeks, and that's on the calendar. That's a non-negotiable for me because it makes me feel better about myself. You know, maybe yours is going to the gym. So these are the no excuse boundaries that are gonna make sure that you're personally fulfilled and finding joy in your business. So do you guys have any, anybody have suggestions about boundaries they need to put in place for themselves, this business? Do you guys do that? I see some really good stuff. Okay, good. I'm glad, you know, sometimes I do something, Jessica, and it's meant for just one person. So if you're the one I'm talking tonight and you get something out of it, this is worth my time, okay? Felicia, I know the craziness that happens in the brain. You guys know I'm creative and I'm a hot mess. But this is the discipline that I really, really keep. So, Cheryl, you can totally apply it to your personal life. Yes, because a lot of people need to say no to things in their personal life as well. I don't know if you guys read, there's a lot of like books about like the best yes or the one thing. So I love to read. I'm a nerd about reading and learning. That's me. Okay, we're gonna set boundaries after we brainstorm. Step 3 is we're actually gonna look at the financial goals. Yeah, hi Pipe. Piper's up here. Let me go put the puppy outside, okay? Hang on. You wanna go outside? Okay, hang on, everybody's waiting. So sorry. When I'm the only one home, I'm also the dog putter outer. And she's already back in. I don't know. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, where was I? We're going to set the financial goals. And the financial goals really come from the first 2 steps that we did. They take the brainstorming and the boundaries and kind of measure up to see what's realistic, okay? Sally says, oh, for a baby. Yeah, she's 90 pounds of nonsense, that one. For me, like, if we go back to that, can I do 12 or 20 craft shows? But my boundary I put in place was that I wasn't gonna work Sundays. Is that really possible? Or do I need to scratch it off my list? Do I need to table it for later? It's written down, it's gonna be there, okay? I got these goals, right? But I need to start weeding out to the main priorities, weeding it down to what can I really make happen? Because if we leave too much on that list, I want you to have big dreams, but I think nailing, you know, 2 or 3 things that can really change your business, and at this step, really getting critical about those things that are on your brainstorm list Maybe they don't end up being something you tackle this year. Maybe it's next year. Maybe you put it on the plate for a couple years, but that's okay. I think people can get really hard on themselves through the process of like setting goals. And sometimes I think it almost becomes a bad word. Like people set New Year's resolutions and people are like, no, I don't set resolutions because I never keep them. Or I don't set goals just because I'm not going to keep them. But I understand that life happens and give yourself some grace and all those things. But I'm talking to the people like me who have, you know, if you have that gut, that inkling to do more, and you think you are meant for more and your business is destined for more and you really want to reach for that, you'll know if it's laid on your heart, okay? Hi, Natasha. I'm so glad. It's a little weird for me to get on not craft, but I think that it's a blessing to be able to share some of my planning tools with y'all, hopefully. Okay, so that's where you're gonna set your goals. You're gonna have weeded it down for those 3 steps. So once you've got your, 5 things you want to achieve this year, and these are really, to me, layered on top of your day-to-day business. Like if you do workshops, maybe you have a goal around, I want to double the number of workshops. Yes, that's going to take something, but to sustain your business, I want to put sustain current business on my list. Like that's a given for me. Yes, but you have to have something to aim for. That's right. I posted a quote earlier today about knowing where you're going and stuff. So definitely been on my heart too. Like if you don't have a roadmap to where you're going, if you haven't considered that and all the steps and turns and things and tools that you need to get from point A to point B, you're not going anywhere. Or you're going somewhere and you don't know where. I want to know where I'm going. And that's to the best year ever for 2019. We're going to have the best year ever. So then once I get those goals down, I start with putting those big boulders on the calendar. So if it's the craft fair example we're using, I've got all 20 of those craft fairs on the calendar and the dates and locations and all that. Or I've got volleyball tournaments for my kids because, yeah, that's real life. If you have football season for your boys, or Kara, who I work with, that has dancing for her girls. My husband is in the military. I need to know the dates that he's out of town for all year if I can, okay? We're supposed to go to a ball in February. If I don't put those big boulders that I'm planning my business around, that is one of the best things about having your own business, is that I can plan my business around my family and my life. And you just kind of know in those seasons, sometimes those aren't the seasons for growing. Does that make sense? Like if I were to have tried in November and December to implement new things in my business or hit these like big goals, if that makes sense, like all I had time to do in November was like paint and ship things. Like you guys saw, I wasn't on here a lot in December because I was kind of in that self-preservation mode of like, I need to fill orders. That's my biggest and first commitment, is when somebody has ordered something from me, I need to commit to filling it for them and exceeding their expectations when they get a package from us on their door. And that was like the only thing I could do. I couldn't layer on learning a new skill in December or introducing a new product line, okay? So think about that. Give yourself grace as far as like when my daughter is traveling the next 4 months for volleyball, I'm not going to be home a lot on weekends. So I'm not going to plan craft fairs. I really am not. We don't do craft fairs in the spring because my daughter has volleyball. And this is her last year of club. The dogs are barking outside. Hopefully it's all good. And I want to be there for everything as possible. So anyway, that's what you got to think about. So putting all those big boulders, those events through the year that can go on the calendar, even like something like your spring product introduction, like I will have a Valentine's line of products, okay? So I would probably put that, Valentine product go on sale on one date. I'd put Easter products go on sale on one date. And then in the next step, so once we've got the big boulders on there, you start working on triggers. And these are basically the smaller tasks that lead up to those big things. So if it's for, what were we gonna say? Our product line. So maybe that product line, I need the triggers on the daily, on the weekly, to remind me to not procrastinate to, a week before a craft show to do something, or to go, oh shoot, I'm launching Easter stuff tomorrow based on my calendar, but I haven't done anything. So I would put, design samples for maybe it's a day where I work on sketching or inspiration for Easter samples. Then we cut the Easter samples, and I gotta allow a week for my husband to be able to find time to cut those. And then I'm gonna actually paint it, and then I'm gonna do a video, and then I'm gonna photograph the product, and then I'm gonna create the listing for Etsy. Like, there's all those sub steps that go on my calendar. They go on the calendar, guys. And this for me was the biggest game changer. Not just the big things on the calendar, but all the sub things. And I use something called Trello. It's a tool, website and an app, Trello, to really do this. And so it would look like I had a day on there, and it would have, you know, the 5 things I need to do that day. So I'm just executing the list, and I'm making progress towards all those big boulders, all those big goals that I set. Does that make sense? That you're breaking down all the subtasks. And then I think as you plan each month, I would encourage you to take a day, you know, it's probably an hour to plan out a day or two before the month starts. You know, those fine-tuned tasks, I think, you know, something will have come up. Yeah, Denny says, I know, and I seem like a spaz, and you guys would probably be like, that's the level of detail she's doing? Like, on Trello, I mean, if you guys aren't using it, you need to use Trello, I guess, I don't know. But I will put, you know, the major things, and then I'll go in, like, on Sunday of the week, and I'll write out my content for Facebook. Like, if I'm posting a motivational post, like, for today, I knew I was doing a motivational post, I had the quote, and, like, I just had to go into Canva and create that quote to post. So you can get as level of detailed as you want, but otherwise I get snowballed. I get easily distracted. Easily distracted by, you know, talking to Kara or the dogs, or, you know, I'd rather go to Hobby Lobby, whatever it is. But if I have this list where I'm not just rolling with the punches, that I'm actually executing something versus reacting to the day or trusting my brain to come up with things I need to do for the day, you know, it's just not going to happen as well. So I think it's almost working backwards. It's knowing the end goal and then piecing it out throughout your calendar. So I hope that makes sense. And like I said, I do that refining step after I set those triggers for me, like the reminders in my calendar to do the work, to work towards yearly goals. I'm always looking in chunks of 30, 60, and 90 days. So I'm like, what is this month? Honing in on that really on a detailed level. And then kind of what's coming up. And then, you know, for the next 60, 90 days. So for a quarter, like if I know I'm being on spring break, what do I need, you know, next month? What do I need to do to prepare myself to take the week off, or whatever it is? And a lot of that's common sense, but I think it's being more intentional. And whether you guys like to plan in a notebook, on paper, Google Calendar, somebody said Google Keeper. I like Wunderlist as well. It's just an app, and you can share the list. We use that for a lot of things on our team. As far as we have a daily production list that's on there. Like, it would have all the orders that need to go out, and like with their deadline, and all the order details and any images you can attach in there. So like me or Kara or Sydney, if she's helping, we can pull up that list and be like, okay, today these 3 items need to go out. Tomorrow it's these 10 or whatever. And then John has a list that's like his cut list of items we need that correlates with what needs to go out. So the deadlines for him are his own separate list. We need a pumpkin door hanger and a 12 by 12 or whatever. So we need that from him on Tuesday. It's due Friday, and Kara, you know, has it on her list with all the specifics. He just needs to know the basics. She needs like the details to make the stencil and all that. So think about how you can use Wunderlist. We use supplies shopping is also on there. Okay, Megan Patrick, good question. If you guys have questions, please type them in. I'm close enough I can actually read it tonight, which helps. Megan says, I feel like I have to be in the mood to create. How do you overcome that? 100% agree, Megan. And I'll be honest, usually with my planning, I give myself more time than I think it will allow. No, more time than I think it will take, right? Allow myself more time than I think it will take, because I do. Like, specifically for like designing stencils, if I want to come up with a new sign line, that's something that, to me, I want to be in the right frame of mind or mood, or I want it to happen organically versus forcing it. So I just walk away. I usually have an extra day or two kind of built in, and that's what I do, Megan. I'd rather it be great and my best work, especially in the creative part, than to force it. I know that there's sometimes when I, like, this is different to me than like painting in preparation for a craft show. Like, if I just have to do it and I'm not in the mood to do it, but I need to make 10 signs because we leave for Vintage Market Days tomorrow, I just make myself do it. You know, I have to have the discipline to just be like, this sucks, but I'm doing it, you know, and maybe we'll have a glass of wine and we'll do it. Or maybe I'll talk my daughter into painting with me and trying to make it a little bit more fun. So just knowing when you can give yourself grace and you want to create your best work and how you do that. Because that's kind of, maybe that's reserved for you, like your magic stuff, your secret sauce, what makes your business you and unique, and that you need to like put your personal touch on and be in your best mood and setting and all that to vibe to create something new or special or fantastic, versus the execution mode, checking things off the list and hitting a deadline or something like that. So hopefully that helps, Megan. I know that's probably confusing. Sometimes it helps just to know somebody else goes through it too. So I'm not an endless fountain of like awesome ideas, trust me. I have lots of bad ones. Sometimes like today when I was writing this out, if you didn't know, I made you guys a cute little, you can opt in the link in the top of the video, and I will send you like the outline, and then I also have 22 items to consider as you're planning your month. So these are what I go through like at the beginning of every month, how I was talking about how I take an hour or two. And some of those are for me. Do you guys want to know what some of them are for me? Let me know. Sorry, like, I think I was gonna get the hiccups. Oh, goodness. Hi, Mary. Good to see you as well. Okay, so at the beginning of every month, I'm going to give you this list of 22 items that I consider. And so for me, looking at a month is a little bit better, but like, so I look at my Pinterest pins. What am I pinning? What should I be pinning in this season? And I actually put it on my calendar. So if I need to be pinning Valentine's stuff right now, this is what I actually did today. I went back and looked what I was doing last January, like, you know, within these next 30 days. And I started talking about Valentine's Day on January 5th. And I was like, oh, moly, I'm behind, you know? Like, I don't have my January samples done. I feel like this part of the end of the year, I could plan better, right? But Pinterest pins, that means I need to be pinning anything that we have for Valentine's Day right now. Okay, so I could probably pretty quickly put on the calendar for January, I need to pin Valentine's Day. For February, I need to be pinning St. Patrick's Day. March, I need to be pinning Easter. You know, kind of put those triggers in the calendar for myself at the beginning of the month. And then actually do the work, execute, right? But I plan out my video topics for the month. So if I'm gonna go live, you know, for Make It Monday every week in a month, I want to kind of sketch in what I plan to talk about, present, what I'm going to craft, right? If I'm going to have any promotions, I put that on there. I even put on there foster business relationships. This might sound silly, but this is real. Like working from home, or by yourself, like I'm lucky to have Kara every day, but if I don't like to leave my house that much, but if I'm not intentional with fostering my business relationships, she could be the only person I talk to in a day, or, you know, like besides my family, right? So I am intentional. I like when I'm saying I put triggers in there, I put a reminder. I have a friend, Heather, maybe she's watching. I put a reminder in my calendar, in my phone, that I'm going to reach out to Heather today and chat with her about business, because I already feel a natural kinship to her, but I have to remind myself to foster that, to get in touch with her, because next thing I know, it's going to be 6 months and I didn't talk to her. It makes me feel good. Sometimes I can help her or offer her some advice or comfort. And it gives me like interaction with a human, right? So that's good. And then one of the things that I'm working on is providing a space specifically for creatives like myself, like in the sign maker world, to have a community where we get together and have like kind of accountability partners and a business hub for all of us. We're planning a year. What worked really awesome for you last year, Heather? What, you know, that type of thing. I think it's so awesome to have friends who are in maybe not all different levels, but in the same industry. I know that I talked about how I like to learn, done different coaching or courses and things like that, where I felt like I'm the only one in here who makes signs, and it's hard for me to glean information from somebody who does photography or does hair or sells essential oils. Not that they don't have valid businesses, but I'm like, sometimes I just want to powwow with my sign maker pals and let's talk about how to move our businesses forward without having to, I don't know, digest and turn it into something that I could use. Yeah, makes sense? So it can be lonely, be intentional, but there's 22 of them. You can download the list and plan your best year ever along with me, and then dig down into each month and really plan something that's going to change your business. I believe that. Okay. Do you schedule days or blocks of times or work on craft development, practicing? Okay. I think what she's saying, do I practice like crafting? So I do like to learn new skills, Sally. So one of the things I bought at Hobby Lobby with my Christmas gift card is like some mixed media stuff, because I like mixed media, and maybe that will be like, I can't imagine it happening anytime soon, but maybe a year or two from now, I have a mixed media line of products, because that's something I have enjoyed and learned. For a sign maker, it might be learning about different equipment and trying, or different woods, or I don't know, different shapes and fonts and how to design better. Like, I always want to hone my skills to be the best at whatever I'm doing. And that's time and experience and challenging myself. And then I also want to be a good steward of how do I take my business to the next level. So I can make signs, but if I can't market my business to tell people I make signs and reach people to sell them to, or I don't know how to do SEO on Etsy, these are real things. Like, I had to learn. I had to go to somebody who was an expert of that. So I'm hoping our Sign Makers Society will check that box for a lot of people who are in this creative boat. So, and as far as my day scheduling, I don't block schedule. What I try to do, this is real life, how I get the most out of my day. So I'll have my checklist for the day. I usually choose the thing I like most to do first. I've heard some people like to do the hardest things first, so it's done. And well, that's probably really annoying. I had that rubber band on there. Sorry. You know, some people like to do the hardest things first and get it out of the way. I like to do the fun, fill my cup things. Like, I still enjoy painting or doing something that's not repetitive for me. I don't know, like a new product line or something like that. But I work for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I get up and I do something, whether it's stretch or make a stack. Usually it's going outside with the dogs, or checking on the chickens. Like, our chickens started laying eggs, Mary. She's the one who can geek out with me on that, because she has chickens about the same age as us. So we're getting like 2 or 3 eggs a day. It's very exciting. So I go out and check on the chickens, or I take the dogs outside, or I switch to laundry, whatever it is, and I just take like a break. I feel like that mental break, and maybe it's like 2 minutes to 5 minutes, just recharges me to tackle the next thing. So I just worked on my checklist. I don't tell myself I gotta get 10 things done, or I don't set I've heard people set a timer and they, you know, do social media scheduling for this hour of the day. I'm not that strict. I do try to do batch work. So today when I was designing, I said I did that quote in Canva. I also did a new Facebook cover, and then some more quotes for the rest of the week. So I'm not going into Canva every single day to do it. I tried to batch it and do like the next 4 or 5 things that I knew I needed to create why I had that program open, and my brain was on that. You know, transitioning back and forth to different tasks or programs or things like that, I do try to limit so I'm most productive. Deanna, SEO, search engine optimization. So that's how you make sure that your signs are like #1 sellers. And Etsy has their own, Amazon Handmade has their own, Google is a whole other monster of its own. But yeah, that means when somebody puts like welcome sign in the search bar in Etsy, that you want your items to be showing up. Yep. So I was trying to see if there was other questions. There was questions about how I work. Tracy Mills says, can I review the steps when I'm done? I could recommend Tracy, hit the link when the video is over, or share it. You know, you can bless your business friends or crafty friends. And that link, you can download it, and it's gonna be like, it's gonna remind you what I said about all those things, okay? You're brainstorming, you set boundaries, set your financial goals, put the boulders on the calendar, set the triggers in the calendar, and refine. So, yeah. Well, hopefully that helps. Like I said, I'm working on my Sign Maker Society, so you guys are gonna hear more about that, where I can share more of my business stuff, but I'll be back with crafty things later this week. So probably, did you guys see on Instagram, I did these flannel shirts. Look, I don't have the one with the thing, but I got these thrifted flannel shirts, and for my cousins and my daughter and my niece for Christmas, we did big monograms on the back. So I was going to show you how easy that is to do, because I think you kind of want to make one for yourself. Even though gift season is over, pick up a flannel when you're at the Helping Hands Goodwill situation, and I'll show you how to personalize a cute flannel for yourself. So anyway, I hope, like, I've seen 3 or 4 of you commenting for sure that this has been a blessing to you. It hopefully at least gets you headed in the right direction of thinking about how you can intentionally plan out your next year. And I just want to share that with y'all. Like I said, you can get the download, do your year, let me know that you planned, and you'll probably be seeing me and Kara. I think we're planning the 2nd of January, so next week. Okay? But thank you so much for your time this evening. I want to say it's Thursday, right? It's Thursday. It's so weird in between Christmas. But anyway, thank you, girls.